Hey Cougars, so I'm going to go over the handout, how to factor and solve a quadratic. So I'm going to leave the first part up here for you. And I do have a video that some of the teachers and I did. I'm not sure if I'll have it ready by Monday, but I'm thinking you should be able to get this part on your own. So you're going to do the ACB chart, the box, and then whatever like factors you get, you're going to put them in here. Set them equal to 0. And the two solutions that you're going to get, I'll just give you those right now. It's -1/3 and 5/4. Okay, so to fill out the rest of the handout, it says, what is the y-intercept of the graph? Hint, plug in 0 for x. Okay, so the equation that we're working with, the quadratic, it's 12x squared minus 11x minus 5. So if we want to find the y-intercept, I'm just going to replace all the x's with 0. I'll do that down here and do 12 parentheses 0 squared minus 11 times 0 minus 5. And then because anything times 0 is 0, we know that these parts are going to cancel out, and all you're going to be left with is -5. Or, because it's asking for the y-intercept, we could just write it as a pair of coordinates, 0, -5. Okay, then the next part says, graph this equation on your graphing calculator or on Desmos. I think for me it's going to be easier if I show you on Desmos, so I'm going to go to, you could just type in Desmos graphing calculator, or you can go to the ebook, which is what I'm going to do, and click on the calculator for graphing. Okay, so what I'd like you to do, you don't have to type y equals unless you want to. I'll do that, y equals, and then I'm going to go 12. Okay, I'm going to retype that. I had a little issue on the computer, so I had to pause it and restart. So I'm going to go y equals, and I'll go over here. So I'll do 12 x squared, whatever the equation was, minus 11x minus 5. Okay, so now we see our graph, and I'm going to lower my keyboard, and I'm probably just going to shift this up a little bit more over here. Okay, so what I wanted to identify on Desmos are a couple of points. This one here, which is -0.3 repeating. So that is what translates to the fraction that we got as one of our x-intercepts, -1/3. And then the other one, 1.25, is the same thing as 5/4. Okay, so that's just kind of verifying what the two x-intercepts are. And then we just found the y-intercept. It was 0, -5. So we can see that clearly from the y-axis. That is where the graph is going through. And now I'm going to go back to the handout so we can fill out the rest. Okay, so we already graphed it. It says, what do you notice about the width of the graph? Is it narrow? So the technical term for that is stretched vertically. Or wide? Is it compressed vertically? So it's going to be either one of those and then y. So you can actually figure out the answer to this question without even looking at the graph, but since I already have it, let's go back to it. So if you think back to the parent function y equals x squared, would you say that this one is a little bit more narrower than that, or is it wider? So hopefully you are saying it is a little bit more narrow. So I'm going to say the graph is narrower. And then maybe to answer the question about why, and I'll say since or because, and that is the part that has to do with this number here, the 12. So that is the coefficient of your x squared term, so a equals 12. And we know that any number that is not a fraction and it's greater than 1, the absolute value of it, then it's going to make it narrower. So I'm going to say the graph is narrower since, so technically it's because the absolute value of A is greater than 1. And then the next question, what do you notice about the orientation of the graph? Does it open upward or downward? So like which direction is it going? And you can also figure that out without looking at the graph, but we'll go back to it. So if I were to move this up a little bit, it's going to keep on going toward infinity. So on a graph, on a piece of paper, I would just put my arrows maybe right about there. So we know that it's going upward, or it's opening up. So I'm going to do that. The graph opens upward. And we will say for our reason that, again, it has to do with the 12. This time, not so much because it's a integer, but more because what kind of integer? It's a positive number. And I'll say since A equals positive. So obviously if it were negative, it would be opening the other way. Okay, so the next part is a little bit harder. You'll eventually need a calculator, so make sure you have those out. And you can always pause the video. And I'll try to go quick, so then that way you can just pause it whenever you need to. So next it says we'll find the vertex of the graph. So there's two ways to do this. It says you can do this by averaging the intercepts or by using this formula x equals negative b over 2a. We're actually going to do this on the next page. So first I said since we already know that the x-intercepts are negative 1/3 and 5 over 4, let's average them. We did this in first semester a little bit. So average means we're going to add them up and divide by the number of terms that we added. So in this case we only have 2. So I'm going to go negative 1/3 plus 5 over 4. All of that divided by 2. It looks a little hard to solve. So I'm just going to focus on the numerator. So pretend there's parentheses here. And you would want to take care of that part first. So I'm just going to do that over there. So I'm going to go negative 1/3, leave a little space, and then plus 5 over 4. The spacing has to do with the fact that I need a common denominator. So I'm going to have to multiply them to get, and they'll have a LCD of 12. That's the first multiple they go into. So I'm going to multiply this one by 4s and this one by 3s. Okay, so now I get negative 1/12 plus 15 over 12. And then I'm going to add those together. And so in the numerator, I would end up with, that would be negative, I'm sorry, I just noticed right here that's not negative 1, that's negative 4. So now I would add them and get positive 11 over 12. And that would be already simplified, so I guess we can circle it. But I am going to use my calculator and see if we can come up with the decimal version, since that's what we'll look for on the graph. So I'm going to go 11 divided by 12. Okay, so 0.916. All right, so now we need to make sure that we do this part, which is divided by 2. So I have 11/12, and now I need to divide that by 2. But dividing by 2 is really the same thing in math as multiplying by a half. So I think I'll just rewrite it 11/12 times 1/2. And I can't do any cross-canceling, so I'm just going to leave it 11 over 24. So that's actually the answer we want. And that one, if I do that in the calculator, it's approximately 0.45. I'll stop right here at 0.58. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the graph. And we're going to verify that. So the vertex is at 0.458, which is what we wanted to check. So we know we did it right. But how can we show the work to get the vertex, which looks like it's at negative 7.5. Okay, so let me go back, and actually we need the back page of the handout. I'm going to turn that over. Okay, so the solution that we got for the x-coordinate, I'm just going to rewrite it over here. It was 0.458. And it's telling me right here that this is also called the line of symmetry. It says also check on Desmos to confirm that this is the x-coordinate. I'm doing a math lesson. Okay, cool. I know, that's great. Okay, thank you. So, we kind of already did the checking of the x-coordinate, but now let's do the back substitute into the original equation, and we can find the y-coordinate algebraically. So I'll just rewrite the original function, which was 12x squared minus 11x minus 5, and then I'm going to rewrite it where I plug in the 0.458. So this is a hard problem in the sense that we're using fractions and decimals, but I mean, they're all like skills that we have done before, so it's just a little bit harder. So if you can do this problem, then you can do any of them. All right, so I'm going to do everything one step at a time. I need to do my exponents first, order of operations, so don't multiply the 12 and the 0.458. Common mistake, I see that a lot. Don't forget that little 2, that takes a priority over the 12. So we're going to do squared. Then I'm going to say times 12. Okay, so I'm just going to jot down the number I get, which is like 2 point... What, Jennifer? I'm doing a lesson right now. Okay, so the next one I'm going to do is 11 times 0.458. I'll talk to you in a minute, Jenna. So I got 5.038. Please go. Okay, so then minus 5. All right, and then I'm going to type all of those in and see what I get. So because I already have the 0.5 or 5.038, I'm going to just retype the 2.517 minus, and then I'll just go second answer. So I have to retype it. And then I also had to do minus 5. So we get the answer that we were looking for from the graph. And maybe I'll do approximately since we did kind of round everything. So negative 7.521. Okay, and then maybe over here I'm going to state that that is our vertex, 0.458, comma, negative 7.521. Okay, so that took a little bit of work. And it does require that you know how to work with fractions, but there is, in this problem, an easier way, and it has to do with that formula, x equals negative b over 2a. So had we not done averaging the intercepts and we just tried to do the formula, then what I would do is go, okay, well my a was a 12, my b was a negative 11. I don't need the c for this part. So you would go x equals negative b, so negative 11, over 2 times a. Those would cancel out to a positive, so I would get 11 over 24. And 11/24, it's really close to 1/2, but we were saying that it was 0.458. So that would have been a little bit faster in terms of coming up with the x-coordinate, and then you would just back substitute to find the y. Okay, real quick, I'm going to do the drawing. So I'm going to go to my random name picker for 3rd period. Sandra, awesome. You got the 1 extra credit point today. Just writing that down real quick. Okay, then for 5th period, let's see. My name. Juan, you are my winner for 5th period. And 7th period, I'm going to do single name. Quinn, awesome. Okay, you guys, welcome back to school. Welcome back from spring break, and hope you have a good day. Bye.